Going to quickly talk about the measurements of foundations and what we do when we have to calculate how much concrete you're going to need for that foundations. Now, earlier we talked about the minimum foundation is going to be 750 millimeters below ground level. And when you work out concrete, or you're trying to work out how much concrete you're going to need, this is based on cubic meters. Again, I was rubbish at maths, but stay with me. This is just simple.
Simple plan that I've drawn. I've taken 3 meters off the existing building. I'm returning along the bottom of the depicted plan 3 meters and then returning back to the building 3 meters. So what I have is 3 meters plus 3 meters plus 3 meters. And because we are measuring in meter cubed and trying to find the volume in whole numbers, unlike my previous recordings where I discussed about using whole numbers, we are going to use 3. So if we look at section AA, and I've taken a slice to show the profile of the foundations that we're digging out, you can see that I've got 600 from our formation level to the bottom of the foundation, and it's 600 millimeters wide again. So we are going to look at the simple equation of length times breadth times depth. So if we take the 9 meters, which is our whole dimension, our whole linear dimension that we're digging out, because we've joined the 3 plus 3 plus 3 together, and then we multiply that by 0.6 for the depth of the dig, multiplied by 0.6 by the width of the dig, that gives us a cubic meter volume measurement of 3.24. And that's how we work out the volume of concrete that we're going to need for this type of dig.
Now, in the UK, again, standards change, I know, but a standard concrete cement mixer lorry holds about 6 meter cube for a standard lorry, and mini mixes can hold between 3 and 4 meter cubed. So if you have 5 meter cubed, you can have a full load of concrete. Now, and I would always advise as well to use ready mix concrete. Why? Because these guys have to go through a QA system and you know what you're going to get. I think it's too important to mess around with your foundations if you are to try and mix it up yourself. I'm not saying don't do it. If you know what you're doing, fine. I'm not going to give any details here about mixing up your own concrete. I will probably do that later on about a bit of lean mix that you might need, but I would always recommend you use a reputable supplier of concrete that's going to come. They can, if it's hard to transport it around to the back of the site, they can always put it on some polythene at the front, and many builders just wheelbarrow it around. 6 cube is a lot to deal with, I know it is, but yeah, always use a standard ready mix concrete supplier. So for concrete itself, we are looking at BS 8500 or BSEN, which is British Standards, and European norm, which is the EN you often see on literature these days, if I can say it. That means European norm, and that's BSEN 206, and that gives the category of concrete that you need to order or need to have a QA, quality assured mark on. So in foundations, I would recommend that you go for or ask for between a C20 and a C25. As I said before, the cement or the concrete suppliers carry out their own QA tests on this. They will take a cube test on what they supply to you, and they will leave that in their labs and store it to make sure after 28 days that does not cause a problem. And the reason why we measure concrete strength after 28 days is because it is considered that concrete retains most of its strength after that time. It does actually increase in strength incrementally, but not so much to have any significant impact on the strength itself. So a C20 concrete mix would be fine. Basically, that's telling you that, I'm just referring to my notes down here, a C20 mix will have something like 220 kilograms a meter cube of cement in it, and a minimum of 20 millimeter aggregate. We all know what cement is, I'm sure. I'm going to do a short video on that to make sure we're on the same hymn page. And I'm also going to talk to you about what an aggregate is, which is in actual fact a bit of stone, but it's a minimum 20 millimeter stone and water as well. Just to recap that if you are going to wheelbarrow it in, fine, on the front lawn, make sure you put some decent polythene underneath it. And if you are, or if the budget can afford a pump mix, or you need to pump it, then you can get a concrete pump. The wagon will pour, the cement wagon, a concrete wagon will pour the concrete into the concrete pump, and that will pump and it'll go straight into your foundations. And that's a good way of getting concreting very, very fast. Finally, when that concrete is in, make sure you use a vibrating poker. It's a family show, people, but that's what it's called. And you'll just put that down into the concrete, and it basically just mixes those stone particles together to make sure they bind a little bit better. And if I can show you an example of that, that should be appearing now. And make sure the concrete is nice, smooth and flat before you go away. And yeah, you should be able to start working on that in a couple of days, because that's how quick concrete goes off. If you are doing it in the winter, try not to do it in temperatures of less than 5 degrees, because you could get frost attack. And if you are doing it in the summer, ensure that you keep that concrete wet. You might have to put an additive in there, or your builder might advise you to do that so it doesn't go off too quickly, because either way you could cause problems if it's extremely too hot or extremely too cold.